Coming up, City Councilor Janice Weiner announced that she is running for an Iowa Senate seat. And later, the university holds an Indigenous art exhibit to honor various tribes.
Field hockey superstars were named to the Senior All-Star list. I'll tell you more in sports.
All that and more coming up on this Wednesday morning edition of DITV News. Don't go anywhere. DITV News starts right now. Good morning and thank you for tuning in. I'm Ashley Wheel. Iowa City Councilor Janice Weiner announced her run for the Iowa Senate seat in District 45. Senator Joel Bolcom currently holds this seat, but is not running for re-election. Weiner is running as a Democrat and is the first candidate to announce a campaign for this seat, saying, quote, "This campaign isn't about me. It's about the Iowa we will leave for our children and grandchildren," end quote. Weiner hopes her prior experience serving as diplomat in the U.S. Foreign Service and as a city council member will prepare her for the Senate seat she wishes to fill. And last night, the Latino Native American Cultural Center hosted an Indigenous art exhibit. The event featured art from 6 different Indigenous artists. The event began with a description of the artists and their work. Attendees then had the opportunity to view the art, which was placed throughout the Cultural House. After viewing the art, attendees engaged in a discussion covering topics such as sovereignty of Indigenous tribes and the theme of connectedness with nature that was expressed in many of the pieces. After the discussion, prints of some of the artwork were raffled to winning participants to conclude the event. Tomorrow, the Latino Native American Cultural Center will also host a powwow event today at 12:30 in the Couza Plaza. And the UI opened a CoWorks Common on November 4th. This space is for staff and faculty to work remotely if they want or need to. The University of Iowa is not allowing most of their staff to work there permanently, but is encouraged for the Commons to be used for meetings and other events on a need basis. The popularity of the space is supposed to grow over time, and people have responded positively to the space being available. And the UI hopes that it can be an inclusive place for in-person, hybrid, and remote employees. And the deliberation stage of the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse began yesterday morning. During protests against Jacob Blake's murder in Kenosha, Wisconsin, Rittenhouse illegally took an assault weapon across state lines, killed 2 men, and injured another. Some unusual moments have occurred during the trial. 12 jurors were chosen at random by Kyle Rittenhouse himself. Jurors are normally chosen by a member of the court. Other moments include shouting at the prosecution lawyers and the ruling that victims not to be called victims at all during the trial. Judge Schroeder also yelled at prosecution again when they nearly brought up a video of Rittenhouse that was previously banned from the courtroom. This video was taken a week before the trial, and it showed Rittenhouse saying he wanted to shoot shoplifters. Final statements focused on whether it was reasonable for Rittenhouse to claim self-defense and serve as judge, jury, and executioner in a situation he put himself in. Protests have already begun in Kenosha over the trial, and protests could possibly spread to Iowa City as well, reminiscent of the protests around Derek Chauvin's trial verdict. And the U.S. Food and Drug Administration seems set to follow a number of U.S. states and allow COVID-19 boosters for all who want them. This recommendation could come as early as Thursday. Currently, the UI is already offering COVID-19 boosters for those who are eligible at the IMU Nurse Care Clinic. Be sure to check back in with DITV later this week to see updates on these COVID-19 boosters. And now let's toss it to Marin to hear all about Hawkeye sports.
Thanks, Ashley. Field hockey seniors Ellie Hawley and Maddie Murphy were named to the NFHCA Senior All-Star list. In Hawley's final season, she scored 8 goals, 4 of which were game winners, as well as 11 assists. Murphy and Hawley were tied with 27 points in the 2021 season. Murphy scored 7 goals and had a team high of 13 assists. Hawley, Murphy, and the Hawks finished their season with a 17-3 record, an Elite 8 appearance, and were the Big Ten outright champions for the first time since 1999. That's all for sports. Back to you, Ashley.
Thanks, Marin, and thank you for tuning into DITV News. Head over to dailyiowan.com for all your latest news between Monday and Friday. And be sure to tune in tomorrow evening at 8:30 for our daily newscast. From DITV News, I'm Ashley Wheel. Have a great day.